Hello friends, welcome to our another webinar. Today in this webinar we will discuss about audit and return filing under GST. We will go deep into audit and return filing under GST. Audit has become a big challenge under GST, and till today we have not been able to complete audit for the first financial year, that is 17-18 FY, and the date is extending every time. So today I have got Kausal, CA Kausal with me. He's part of our team. He's very experienced chartered accountant working with us, and he will help us to understand and deep dig into return filing concept and audit under GST. Kausal, over to you. Please start your presentation. Kausal, we are
Yeah,
not able to hear you. Yeah, yeah.
Good evening, everyone. So today, that webinar topic is GST annual return and audit. So we will be quickly going through the threshold limit for 1819, the due dates and the late fees, the checklist of for filing of the annual returns, quick overview of the forms, that is Form 9 and 9C. Then we will be taking up some challenges which a registered person can face while filing his forms and the auditor may face while filing the GST or 9C. We will be taking the outward supplies under GST along with RCM, and then it will be followed with the input tax credit. Then certain amendments which have came major in 2018-19, which are a matter of concern for everybody, which needs to be taken care of. And finally, we will be going through some of the issues faced in the audit. So moving forward, the first is the threshold limit for 1819. As per the provisions under the GST Act, every registered person, other than input service distribution, casual taxable person, non-resident taxable person, person deducting TDS or collecting TCS, whose aggregate turnover during the financial year 1819 does not exceed 2 crores, then he has an option to file GSTR 9. However, the second thing, whose aggregate turnover during the financial year exceeds 2 crore but does not exceed 5 crore, has mandatory to be filed GSTR 9. However, the GST audit for that person is optional. But every registered person whose aggregate turnover during the financial year exceeds 5 crore, so he will be mandatory to file both GSTR 9 and appoint an auditor to conduct the GST audit and file GSTR 9C. Moving forward, what are the due dates for filing the returns of 1819 financial year? As we already know, the date has been extended till 30th of Sep 2020 via notification dated 5th of May 2020. However, and also, if a registered person fails to file his GSTR 9, he will be chargeable to rupees 200 per day, subject to a maximum 0.25% of his turnover as the late fees. And in case the registered person on whose GSTR 9C is applicable, he has to pay a penalty of 50,000 in case of late filing. So next is, what are the checklist one should go through quickly before filing his annual returns or before initiating the filings of his annual return? So first and the foremost thing is, up till 31st March 2019 period, that is for financial year 1819, all the returns of GSTR 1 and 3B and whatever applicable has been filed by the registered person. The second is, the registered person is required to prepare a reconciliation summary of inward supply. That is the comparison between the 3B, 2A and the books of accounts. The third is, the registered person is required to prepare the reconciliation summary of outward supply, that is 3B1 and books of accounts. While preparing the reconciliation summary, he should make sure that any unbilled revenue or any advances received in that financial year has been taken care of. Because as per the provisions of GST, GST is also chargeable on advances received during the financial year in case the advance relates to supply of goods or services. The next is, he should make sure that as per the provisions of section 16, the input has taken place, and in case there is any reversals of input with respect to section 17(5) of the act, so all the reversals has been taken care of. The next is, in case there is any reverse charge on the registered person, so he should make sure that the provisions of time of supply and the sections under which reverse charge is followed are taken care of. So next is, I have divided the slide into two groups. First, I will be dealing with the outward supplies, which will also cover the RCM. And the next, I will be dealing with the GSTR 9 and 9C in input credits. So moving forward, here's a quick look of the GST 9 form, how it looks and what are the fields and what are the fields which are optional for 1819 and what are the things which needs to be taken care of while filing GSTR 9. So this is the basic homepage of the GSTR 9. We can initiate by giving out GST number and the financial year for which we are filing the returns. Right now with the portal, the version 1.2 is applicable for GSTR 9 form. When you initiate the filing, the first tab will be table number 4. In table number 4, we have to give the details of supplies made during the year. One thing to be noted, that here the details of supplies made during the year to be provided. That is, what is the actual supply the registered person has made during the financial year of 1819, and does not what we have shown in GSTR 3B or GSTR 1. All the things which we will be reporting are which are the actual and which is as per the books of accounts and which are made during the financial year. So here we have to provide the details of supplied made to registered person, unregistered person, and other various heads. Here, option is available that from 4B to 4E, the registered person can provide the details with the net of credit and debit note effects. Moving forward, the next is the continuation of this slide. That is, in table number 5, we have to provide the details of outward supplies made during the year. However, in providing these details in table number 5, we generally provide the details of non-taxable or exempted supplies which are made during the year. Here also, in case of providing the various details under various heads for 5A to 5D and 5E, we can provide the consolidated figure in 5D along with giving the net effect of debit and credit note. The next is table number 9. In table number 9, we have to give details about the taxes paid during the year. So in table 9, the tax paid through cash and the tax paid through ITC, it will be auto-populated as per our filings of GSTR 3B, and we have to give the details of the tax payable by the registered person in that financial year. Next is table number 10 and 11. So these two tables are very important. Here we have to provide the details of supplies which are declared through amendments in the next financial year. That is, say for example, for 1819, if any adjustments has been done in the period of 1718, we can give the details over there. Or let us say for the financial year 1819, if any adjustments are done after the 1819 financial year, that is in 1920, we can provide the details over there. But one major thing which needs to be noted by every person, that in 1718 GSTR 9, the option for declaring any details for 1718 which has taken place in 1819 has been extended till April to March. However, for the financial year 1819, if any amendments has been done in 1920, then we can report up till September 2019 only. Anything apart from September cannot be reported in this table. So this is the quick look of GSTR 9. Moving forward, we will proceed with GSTR 9C. So this is the basic home page of GSTR 9C. The first table which we need to file is table number 5. Here we provide a reconciliation of gross turnover, that is turnover declared in the annual financial statements that is audited, and we have to provide the breakup of those turnover under the different heads if there are any adjustments. One thing to be noted, in case of providing the breakup from 5B to 5O, we can put a consolidate figure in 5O and that will be valid. The next is table number 9. In table number 9, we have to provide the reconciliation of rate-wise liability of the tax payable during the financial year. That is uh, the type of taxes which we need to pay under various rate types, that is 5% or 12% or 18% or under the reverse charge. So we have to provide the breakup of the tax payable by the registered person during the year. Also, here only we have to provide the any interest or late fees liability which the registered person is required to pay for that financial year in table number 9 of GSTR 9C. Moving forward, I would like to discuss some of the scenarios which a registered person can face while filing the above mentioned forms of outward supplies in GSTR 9 and 9C. Let us say scenario 1. The registered person has entered the transaction in 1718 and paid the GST in 1819 or 1920. So let us say, for example, in annual financials, we have reported the transactions in 1718. However, in 3B also we have reported the same in 1718. So in 1819, no disclosure is required in 9 and 9C. However, let us say in our books of accounts, that is audited financials, transactions are there in 1718. However, we have reported the same or paid the tax on same in via GSTR 3B in 1819 or 1920. So let us say if we have paid the taxes on same in 1920 GSTR 3B, then no disclosure will be there in 1819. However, if we have paid the taxes via 1819 which pertains to 1718, we have to give the reconciliation summary in GSTR 9C. The third case is, let us say the financials, in financials, we have shown the transactions in 1718. However, the tax has not been paid till date via GSTR 3B on the same outward supplies. So in that case, we have to pay the same to DRC 03 and there will be no impact or there will be no reporting in 9 and 9C of the 1819. Let us, moving forward, say, let us say in the scenario is like, we in our books of accounts, that is the annual financials, the transactions are appearing in 1890. However, we have already paid the tax on same in 1780. So in this case, we will be giving the disclosures in table number 5 of GSTR 9C, that is in the reconciliation summary of GSTR 9C. Let us say the next case is, in financials we have shown in 1819 and also paid the same taxes in 1819. So this will be as per the normal provisions. The registered person will be disclosing the same in table 4 or 5 wherever applicable in GSTR 9 and table 5 in GSTR 9C. Let us say the next example, which can be one of the case that transactions are done in 1819. However, we have paid the taxes in 1920. So in this case, the registered person filing the GSTR 9 will be reporting the same in table number 10 or 11 wherever applicable and in table 5Q of GSTR 9C. And one more case that can be happen while filing the returns. Let us say we have entered the transactions in our books in 1819. However, we have not paid any kind of taxes, although it is a taxable supplies. So in this case, the same will be payable by filing DRC 03 and then we have to report in table 4 and table 5 of GSTR 9. Moving forward, let us say another kind of scenario that can happen is, suppose in financial year 1718 our tax liability is 100. However, by mistake we have paid excess tax liability, that is 110, and subsequently while filing the next year's 3B, monthly 3B, we have adjusted the same. So in financial year 17-18, our 9C has looked like in table 4, we have shown tax payable as 100, and in table 9, that is details of taxes paid, it will be reflecting 110. So moving forward, let us say continuation of that example only. Uh, in 18-19, we have adjusted the tax which has been excess paid in 17-18. So in suppose in 18-19, our tax liability is 120. However, we have paid 110 via filing of the payment via cash or input adjustments, and 10 rupees has been adjusted of the excess paid in the earlier financial year. So in this case, the general reporting or the most appropriate reporting will be, we can state in our comment while filing GSTR 9C, uh, say the forms of GSTR 9 and 9C can be read with forms of GSTR 9 and 9C of 17-18 financial year. Uh, the next scenario which one can face while filing the returns or while preparing his books of accounts for the purpose of audit, that is GST audit. Let us say the correct type of taxes are shown in the invoices. However, uh, wrong tax has been paid while filing GSTR 3B. Suppose C and S GST are the correct type of taxes which the registered person is required to pay. However, while filing his GST returns, he has disclosed wrong type of taxes, that is IGST, in his return, and he has done the rectification of the same in the same financial year. So in that case, we can go ahead with the correct reporting of figures in GSTR 9 and 9C, that is C and SGST. But let us say uh, the correct type of taxes are C and S. However, the SSC has disclosed in return the IGST, and the adjustment has been done in subsequent financial year. So in that case, the SSC needs to provide the SSC needs to provide the adjustments in table number 10 and 11 of the GSTR 9 wherever applicable, and also if audit is applicable, we can provide a reconciliation summary or comment on the same. Uh, let us say the third scenario is the correct type of taxes applicable are C and S. However, the SSC has filed the taxes under IGST and no rectification has been done till date. So in that case, the SSC is required to pay the additional tax liability of C and S, which is actually the tax liability the SSC needs to pay via filing form DRC 03, and the extra amount or the wrong amount which the registered person has paid in the IGST, the same can be applied for the refund. Moving forward, the next case, suppose the correct type of taxes are C and S. However, while issuing the invoices, we have mentioned the wrong type of tax. So in that case, since we have reported in our 3B the correct type of taxes, so we can go ahead with filing table form and table 5 of GSTR 9 and 9C. However, for the wrong invoice which we have issued to our customers, we have to issue a amended invoice, and in case the amendment is not possible, we have to issue the credit note for I and debit note for C and SGST. And let us say one more example which is a combination of all. Let us say the correct type of taxes are C and S. However, we have mentioned in our invoice the IGST, and also we have paid in the return IGST only. So this is a mixture of all the above transactions which has taken place. So to rectify this, first of all, the registered person has to issue the amended invoice uh, with the correct type of taxes so that the customer can claim the same. The second thing is, since we have not paid the tax of C and S and we have wrongly paid the taxes of I, So we have to file DRC 03 and pay the tax under C and S GST, whatever the tax is applicable. And for IGST, we can go for a refund with the department. One thing we can note that since we have already paid the taxes and the tax has been paid under the wrong head, so there will be no interest implication while paying the same in at the current time. So we can say that since we have already paid, so we are just changing the heads of taxes and there will be no interest implication on the same. Uh, the last thing which I would like to take in the outward supplies is the RCM topic. So as per the press release, it has been stated that the in whichever financial year the actual payment of RCM has taken place, we will be reporting the RCM in annual returns in that financial year only. So let us say in our financials, we have shown the transactions on which RCM is attracted in 1780. However, we have paid the tax on same in 1819. So reporting will be there in 1819 only because we have paid the tax in 1819. So table 4 and table 9 of GSTR 9 and 9C, here we will be describing the details of the RCM transaction. Let us say the second scenario, which is very normal and it will be as per the general provision that we have shown the taxes in 1819 and we have paid the taxes in 1819 only. So this will be as per the normal reporting. But let us say we have entered the transactions in our books in 1819. However, we have paid taxes on same in 1920. So while filing the returns of 1819, there will be no disclosure and the same will be disclosed in the returns of 1920 only. And let us say the fourth case, the last case, that the RCM is applicable. However, we have missed the paying the taxes under RCM. So we have to file DRC 03 and pay the applicable taxes. Moving forward, the second part of our slide, that is here we will be going through a quick overview of the GSTR 9 and 9C forms on which the input tax table needs to be filed and what are the scenarios which a registered person or the auditor can face while filling the above mentioned forms. So in input, the first table in GSTR 9 is table number 6, where we have to provide the details of ITC availed during the year. That is ITC availed on the supplies and ITC availed on reverse charge and ITC availed on import of goods. So here, instead of providing under the various heads of inputs, capital goods and capital service input services, there is an option with the registered person. He can provide the details of the same in inputs column only. Moving forward, the next table is table number 7 of GSTR 9 form. Here we have to provide the details of ITC reversed and ineligible ITC for the financial year. Here we have to provide the details under various rules of GST, that is rule 37, 39 or 42 or 17.5, whichever is applicable, those ITC which are reversed during the year or which are ineligible during the financial year. So here also, instead of providing the various figures under the different heads, we can provide the consolidated figure in table 7H. However, in case if there is any reversal of trans credit during the financial year, the same will be reported in table 7F and 7G only. The next is the table number 8 of GSTR 9. Here we have to provide the details of reconciliation, that what is the input as per 2A, what is the input we have claimed in our GSTR 3B, and any adjustments to inputs, that is input pertaining to 1718 claimed in 1819 or input pertaining to 1819 claimed in 1920. So here we have to provide the disclosure of the same. However, instead of filling the forms from table number 8A to 8B, the registered person is having the option uh, that he or she can upload a duly signed PDF form in GSTR 9C for this reconciliation. Moving forward, the next table is table number 12 and 13, where we have to provide the reversals of ITC which has been made during the year of any ITC pertaining to previous year claimed during this year. Here again, the thing to be noted that any transactions which are for 1819, however, any effect given in 1920, the same will be taken for the period of April 19 till September 19 as the form mentions the same, and no clarification for any extension of period has came till date. The next is table 9C, that is form GSTR 9C table number 12. Here we have to provide the reconciliation of input tax credit made during the year. Here, one thing to be noted, in case the SEC has filed in 1718 GSTR 9C and shown any figures in table 12C, so that figure will automatically become the figures of table 12B in this financial year. That is, the ITC booked in the current financial year to be claimed in subsequent financial year, that is booked in 1718 to be claimed in 1819, will be become the opening that is booked in 1819 and claimed in 1718. The next is table number 14. In table number 14, we have to provide the details of the reconciliation summary, that is ITC declared in the annual return, along with the breakup of the expenses which we have shown in our annual financial statement. However, this table has been made completely optional for the financial year 1819. Moving forward, here we take some of the issues which the registered person can face while filing the returns and how to deal with those issues or how to report those issues in GSTR 9 or 9C. Let us say we have availed the inputs in 1718 in our books of accounts. However, we have claimed the same inputs in 1819 in GSTR 3B. So here we will be disclosing the same in table 6 and table 12 of GSTR 9 and 9C. The second case is very normal and it will be as per the general provisions, that is inputs booked in 1819 and claimed in 1819. However, in third scenario, let us say the financials we have shown the transactions in 1819. However, we have claimed the input in 1920 in our books of accounts. So here we will be disclosing in table 8 of GSTR 9 and table 12 of GSTR 9C, that is ITC of the other ITC related information in table 8 and table 12, that is table 12, that is reconciliation of the net ITC. The fourth scenario, let us say we have not disclosed the input in our books of accounts in 1718, 1819, but however we have claimed the inputs in 1819. So we can continue with the claim of input and we can disclose the same in table 6 and table 12. The final scenario which we will be taking for the input tax reconciliations are, let us say we have claimed the inputs in our books of accounts in 1819. However, we have not claimed in our GSTR 3B till date. So in this case, since the time limit has expired for financial year 1819 to claim the inputs of 1819, so the same will be considered as cost in the books of accounts of the registered person. So these are the scenarios which may happen or which one registered person may face while filing the above input forms in GSTR 9 and 9C. Moving forward, here are some of the key amendments which has taken place in 1819, which one must keep in mind so that the correct reporting and the correct compliances are done. So, with effect from 1st of February 2019, ITC has been specifically disallowed on services of general insurance, services of repairs, maintenance of the motor vehicles having a seating capacity less than 13 persons. So, in case of any registered person, uh, we have to make sure that the registered person has not claimed any ITC on the motor vehicles with effect from 1st of February 2019. The second in this only is with effect from 1st of Feb 2019. However, it is stated that in case there is any obligation on an employer or the registered person to provide the services to its employees under any law, so the registered person can claim the ITC of such goods or services. The third amendment, which is a very major amendment, is in every registered person receive to whom any kind of security services are provided by any person other than the body corporate will have to pay liability under the reverse charge. So, in case any registered person who has received any kind of security services from a person other than a body corporate, so he have to comply with the provisions of reverse charge mechanism. Moving forward to our next slide, here I have taken some of the key issues which may be faced during the audit and which the auditor needs to take care while filing the form of GSTR 9C. The first and the foremost is there is the retrospective amendment on the availment of trans credit on education set, secondary higher and KKC via circular dated 2nd of January 2019. So these things to be kept in mind relating to trans credit availment. The second is there are multiple waiver of late fees for delay filing of GSTR 1 and 3B during the financial year 18-19. So in case the auditor is stating in the table of the tax liability payable by the SSE, the auditor needs to take care of the actual due dates which has been extended while computing the interest provisions. The third is as per Rule 37 of the GST, in case if there is any availment of ITC and the payment has not been made within 180 days, the same needs to be reversed in the books of accounts. So the auditor needs to check the same has been taken place. Also, in case of any job work on whose time has lapsed and the goods are not the goods has not been received, so GST will be attracted on that. So same needs to be also taken care of. One major thing which needs to be taken here is with effect from 1st of October 2018, TDS and TCS has been made applicable in GST. So the registered person on whom these TDS and TCS are applicable, they needs to take care of the same. The last and the important thing which the auditor needs to take care to maintain a reasonable assurance that there is a nationwide implementation of e-way bills with effect from 1st of April 2018. So the auditor and the registered person needs to make sure that whatever outward supplies and inward they are showing in their books of accounts on whom the way bill is applicable, way bill are properly available with the them and matching as per the books of accounts. So moving forward to the conclusion, I would only state that while filing the forms of GSTR 9 and 9C, the many persons are of the opinion that can we claim the ITC that we have not availed in 18-19 while filing the annual returns of 18-19. So the straight answer is no. We cannot avail any ITC through annual returns. Neither we can reverse any ITC through the annual returns. So if the registered person finds himself that he is liable to reverse any ITC, or he is liable to make any payment of the shortfall of taxes. The same has to be made via filing of Form GSTR DRC 03. So that's all for the webinar today.
Thanks, Kausal, for the detailed presentation. And if we have any questions, you can ping your questions here, or you can send your questions to info@taxmantra.com. I will just ping the email ID.
Yes, sir. It is over the screen.
Yeah. So you can send your questions. So we at Tax Mantra, we are a global tax and legal firm based out of India, Singapore, and US, and we do tax advisory and compliance and regulatory services in India, Singapore, and US. Thanks for taking out time and attending this webinar today. Thanks, Kausal, for a very detailed presentation. And we have another webinar tomorrow at 5 p.m. So do connect us and do join us for that webinar. Till that time, thanks. Take care of yourself. Continue to work towards the growth and stay positive. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.